Hi guys, Steve Girardi here. Welcome to Steve Strings. Today I have another review video for you. Today we'll be looking at the Mitchell MU40NT soprano ukulele. Now this instrument does not come with any accessories except for this one, which is this sort of instructional booklet. And from looking at this, basically what it is it has the basic chord shapes. It has just a couple of songs here to get a raw beginner started, and that's really it. So basically, when you're buying this instrument, you're getting the instrument and that one book, and really that's it. Let's start by looking at the headstock. You can see here this instrument has a veneer of what looks to be mahogany, but I can't be certain. But there's a veneer on the headstock, and you can see that the Mitchell logo is a water slide decal, which then has a finish sprayed over it. This has basic open gear tuners, right? And the neck and body of this are described as linden wood. The fretboard on this is described on the Guitar Center page as being walnut, but on the Amazon page it's described as being rosewood. And from looking at it, it does not look like rosewood. It does, in fact, look like walnut. The bridge on the Guitar Center page is described as lindenwood, although it looks a lot like the walnut. Again, on the Amazon page, both are described as rosewood, and looks like they plainly aren't. A nice thing about this instrument, you can see that it has this nice sort of cream ABS binding on the neck, as well as on the body. This instrument does have position markers on the fretboard, but does not have them, sadly, on the player's side. Again, this is a soprano instrument, and I checked the intonation on this, and the intonation is a little sharp at the 12th fret. I also checked the string action using my string action ruler here, and the action is 3 millimeters at the 12th fret. A little higher than I like, but certainly in the playable range. The nut and saddle on this are both not described, but it's plain that they are a plastic nut and saddle. Again, this instrument is described as being a lindenwood neck and body, which is clearly a laminate. And as I understand it, lindenwood is in the same family as basswood, but I'm not really certain of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the finish here. You can see it has this sort of satin or almost even really matte finish. I'm not sure how you would describe it. I think the web page describes it as satin, but it is not a glossy, shiny finish. And from looking it over, it looks pretty nice. Obviously, it's one piece of a laminate, because you can see it's not a book match sort of grain pattern to it. And it has a very typical shape and feel of a typical soprano. Nothing really fancy going on there. Looking at this on the inside, it does have the typical traditional notched kerfing on the inside with basically no squeeze out that's to speak of. And it does have the typical ladder bracing going on inside. This instrument is tuned GCEA. I say the only thing that I found really sort of wrong with this from looking at it is here at the bridge and saddle. And I'll try to show that to you here. Hopefully you can see that this the saddle is canted slightly forward toward the headstock in its groove. And hopefully you can see this. If you look closely, you can see that down here on the bass side, this saddle fits a little more neatly in the groove, but as you move toward the treble side, that slot for the nut actually gets wider. And so I think that may be why the saddle is canting forward a little bit. It has a little bit of play going on in there. But really that's the only really sort of flaw I could find anywhere on this instrument. So you heard this instrument a bit on the way in. Let me go ahead and play it some more, both finger-picked and strummed, so you get a sense of the sound for it. And I should say that the strings on this are not described as being a particular brand. They do not look like Aquilas. They're sort of like a nylon, sort of not quite fully clear, like an opaque sort of a nylon. Let's talk about the tone on this. It has some okay sustain. Not the longest, not the shortest. It has some decent projection. It's not bad for Lindenwood. So again, the sound on this, it's okay. It's not the best, it's not the worst. It's kind of middle of the road, about what you might expect from a $35 or $39 ukulele. And again, right now on Amazon, these are selling for $35.50, and this is October of 2021. And on the Guitar Center page, they're selling for $39.99. So if you're looking for an entry-level, not very expensive soprano ukulele, this is one to look at. I should say that it's a really, really crowded market out there. And how does this one stack up against the rest? I've seen a number of these I've seen a number of ukuleles that are probably better sounding than these. This is certainly as well built as other instruments in its price range. And I think the big factor here is that Lindenwood. I think tone woods really do make a difference, especially on the soundboard. I hope you found today's review of the Mitchell MU40NT soprano ukulele helpful. If you did, please give a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of the instruments that I review, as well as the instruments that I build, please subscribe. I'd love to have you come back and see more of my videos that I do. Thanks for watching.